Provide sturdy, wider chairs without armrests. In guest rooms, lobbies, and common areas to accommodate different body sizes and types. Number 2 on the list, ensure beds with strong support and a higher weight capacity, along with providing reinforced chairs and wider bathroom facilities. Number 3, make elevators and hallways spacious to allow for easy movement of larger individuals and those utilizing mobility devices. Number 4, install grab bars in showers and near toilets. Offer adjustable handheld shower heads and raised toilet seats for added accessibility. Number 5, train staff to be respectful, understanding, and accommodating to travelers of all sizes. Number 6, provide pool lifts and handrails at the entry of the pool. This will allow for plus-size guests and guests with different abilities to enjoy all amenities. When it comes to my plus-size travel petition, people like to compare a person needing to buy additional plane seats to the concept of paying for overweight or additional luggage. But you need to understand something. Once you check your luggage, there is a human that has to handle that luggage and get it onto the plane. And did you also know that back injuries are very common for ramp agents at the airport? To lower that risk of back injury, strict standards have been set on how much that baggage can weigh. Also, let's be clear that luggage is an inanimate object, and people are sentient individuals with a right to a certain level of decency, respect, and safety. So stop comparing people to luggage. A plus-size individual or tall individual or someone needing more space on a plane is not the same as someone wanting to bring an extra Gucci suitcase. Humans are not being carried by ramp agents who could potentially hurt their back. And we deserve space on a plane to be comfortable and safe. So stop saying that if someone is taller or they weigh more, that they deserve to pay more for the same experience getting from point A to point B. Because that's just not fair and it's not human decency.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So I wanted to discuss this story because I've been following this influencer for a while now, following her journey and the demands that she's putting on the travel industry to accommodate plus size people. And one of the main issues that people have with this is that nothing comes for free. So if you're going to say that airlines need to provide extra seats, not just one extra seat, some of her videos she's talking about even 2 extra seats for free. If you're going to make those sort of proposals, then people are going to ask immediately, where is the money going to come from? And it's expensive to fly as it is, especially now with inflation and everything. I mean, even flying within the US, the tickets are very expensive. And then people ask the obvious question, why don't you just lose a few pounds? It's your responsibility to take care of your health. And maybe it's a wake-up call to lose a few pounds so that you can travel more comfortably, rather than expecting the airline, and then by default, everyone else, to foot the bill for your extra seats. And then we have people who have all sorts of requirements through no fault of their own, people who are extremely tall. They pay for extra space. They upgrade their ticket, they do what they need to do to ensure that they can fly more comfortably, rather than expecting everyone else to pay. And she has addressed this. She has said that she's not expecting everyone else to pay, that it's the airline who need to foot the bill. It's the airlines who already hike up prices unnecessarily who need to, absorb the extra cost. And one of the airlines she has cited in the past is Southwest Airlines. So this is one of the airlines she has stated, and she said that if Southwest can do it, other airlines need to follow suit. There's no excuses.
Today, I want to talk about my plus-size travel petition that recently went viral. There has been a huge misunderstanding that I want other airline passengers to have to foot the bill for the suggested policy changes outlined in my plus-size travel petition, but that's not true. Let's just keep it real. The airlines have had a history of price gouging customers and overselling flights. With that being said, they have continued to lower the standard of comfort and safety for all passengers. So it's time for the airlines to take responsibility of guaranteeing a better flight experience for all passengers. It's not the responsibility of the individual passengers they are supposed to be serving. Southwest Airlines offers competitive prices for their airplane tickets. They do this and offer an incredible customer size policy for plus-size passengers and those who need more space. The Southwest customer size policy offers an additional complimentary airplane seat to those who need more room. They are able to do this without passing the cost on to other consumers. And if they can do it, then so can other airlines.
And apparently, she's getting her wish. Southwest Airline have upped their game and are providing even more for plus-size passengers. So what does this mean for the future of travelling? What does this mean for plus-size passengers? Are they now going to be given a lot more for free? Something that will not be afforded to us regular-sized folk. Not for free, that is. So let's get into the story. So plus-size TikTokers are praising Southwest Airlines Well, it's customer of size policy, which allows overweight passengers to request a complimentary seat and forces the flight staff to accommodate larger flyers, even if that means kicking others with tickets off the flight. You cannot be serious. And one influencer said, I had a very comfortable flight, just feeling like I was allowed to take up the space I needed. Under the Texas-based airline policy, customers whose bodies encroach past the armrest are entitled to an extra seat at no additional cost. Which right there is a lie. That money is going to be absorbed somewhere. And eventually, it will be passed on to the customers. But great, even if that's not the case. That sounds great for a plus-sized traveller. But what this means is if you are plus-sized, you're basically getting the cost of your tickets at half price. Something that the rest of us will not be afforded. We will have to pay full price for our ticket, and if we wanted an extra seat, we're going to have to pay for the extra seat. We don't get double for our money. But if you're plus-sized with this airline, you do. So that right there in itself is kind of punishing people who are normal, regular-sized. If you ask me, that's how I see it. It says that passengers have the option of purchasing just one seat and then discussing your seating needs with the customer service agent at the departure gate. And I have seen people who are like 6'6", for example, get into arguments with people at the departure gate because there was a problem with their flight and the seating that they paid extra for is no longer available because they had to be put on another flight, for example. I've had people get into arguments over that. So people pay extra when they need extra space. And these are people who need extra space for factors that are out of their control. But what many are arguing is that if you are overweight, morbidly obese, for example, you didn't get there without effort. You didn't get there through factors that are outside of your control. Obviously, we're talking, there are people who say there's medical conditions. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people who are overweight because of their lifestyle, which basically means the food you eat or the amount of food you eat, the lack of activity. Now, again, if you're happy, living that sort of lifestyle, great. Everybody can live the lifestyle they choose to live. Not everybody has to be a gym rat. Not everybody has to, do keto. This isn't to shame anybody. This isn't to say that people who are plus size don't deserve respect and, dignity and to be treated with the same care as everyone else is treated with. We're all in different situations. There's people who have all sorts of requirements when they travel and who need a little bit more understanding. So that should be extended to everybody, regardless of size, and all other factors. But this is kind of concerning for people who don't get this special treatment because it's like, where is the money going to come from? But hey, if Southwestern Airline are okay with that, maybe they are absorbing the cost. And one thing that is great about traveling is that we have options. This airline doesn't suit our needs or the price isn't right. We go on to another airline, we look up another flight, we do another search, and eventually we will get something that is closest, to our price range. But if all airlines are going to adopt this sort of policy, I think we will be seeing repercussions of that. Our options gradually narrow. I believe that will be the consequence, because with everything, there are always trade-offs. Nothing comes for free. So if it's determined that a second or third seat is needed, you will be accommodated with a complimentary additional seat. Wow. So potentially you can even end up getting 2 extra seats for free. The flight team will then look at the seating arrangements, which are predetermined on Southwest flights, and would potentially move other passengers around for the unplanned accommodation. Now, I booked my flights recently. I went with my one of my kids, and obviously I booked a seat next to my child. But when I got to the airport, got my boarding ticket, I realized that for some reason they had changed my seat and I was no longer seated next to my child, which is ridiculous. So it does raise the question, how is this going to inconvenience people who need the seats that they were assigned when they bought the ticket? Some people who have preferences. There's people who have preferences. They have to have the aisle seat, especially these tall people. They have to have the aisle seat, or they may need the aisle seat for other reasons. But if we're now moving people around, shuffling people around to accommodate, people who are of the size they are through certain lifestyle choices, again, that could have repercussions. Self-described fat solo traveler, Kimmy, showed her followers how to use the program in a video that went viral in October.
Hi, it's okay. I'm hoping to use your customer size policy today. Yes, I'm leaving. Yes. Thank you. Okay, thank you so much for your help. May I have a seatbelt extender, please? Thank you very much. Thank you.
So she simply went up to the airline booth and said, "Hello, I'm hoping to use your customer of size policy today. Southwest is the only airline that allows you a second seat at no extra cost, even if the flight is fully booked. I've done this a dozen times and never had an issue or been denied," she said, adding that under the policy, she is allowed to pre-board ahead of other passengers. Wow. Enter the aircraft, get your seatbelt extender, and grab your seat. So she says she puts the ticket in the seat next to her in case anyone tries to, sit in those seats. But she's never had a problem. And Kimmy concluded by saying she applauds the airline for making air travel more comfortable and accessible for all people, including fat and disabled people. This is another thing they do, which maybe people who, have disabilities may want to weigh in on this, but I don't like the automatic equating being fat to being disabled. And when it comes to disability, the law says that you can't be discriminated against due to your disability, that businesses have to accommodate people with disabilities. So they're trying to equate that to being plus sized and saying that in the same way, under law, businesses need to accommodate people for their size too. And, I kind of find that in a way, it's the same way they even equate it to being, a person of color. The same way it's wrong to discriminate against somebody because of their race, it should be likewise against the law to discriminate against somebody because of their size. And that is open to interpretation. If we say that, sorry, we don't have any extra seats, is that discriminating against somebody because of their size? And is that the same as discriminating against somebody, denying somebody, access because of their race or because of their disability? A lot of these influencers are saying it's the same thing, and I disagree with that personally. So what gets me is the whole, even if the flight is fully booked. Again, there are only trade-offs when it comes to these things. So what does that mean? Does that mean that people are going to get shifted around and move to another flight so that you can have an extra seat? Is your plus size? That's my thing. If it encroaches upon other people who are regular sized, I think some may argue that that's discrimination. That's going to inconvenience other people to accommodate somebody who is plus sized. People will have issue with that. So I don't know. Nothing comes for free, like I said. And if the flight is fully booked, somebody, I'm assuming, would have been kicked off the flight.
This video is going to be very controversial, but I really need to understand what just happened. Flying from Montego Bay, stop in Baltimore, going home to Denver. And in Montego Bay, they tell us on Southwest that we cannot go on the plane because it got overbooked and we cannot get in because I was on standby. Well, I wasn't on a standby. It wasn't my ticket. I purchased the ticket, and they couldn't get. So it's me, my daughter, and her friend. Me with 2 teenagers. We can't get in on a plane. Later, to find out that there's a person of size that did not purchase 2 tickets, but was being accommodated. And that is why we could not get in on the airplane and about to get stuck outside the country. Please, again, I said it's controversial. Please help me understand. Why do I have to spend the night without any accommodations in Baltimore because person oversized person, how did they call her, didn't purchase a second ticket. Well, here's the thing. I asked that here at the Baltimore. They said, sorry, we can't accommodate you. 9 o'clock right now. I have a ticket. I have a flight for tomorrow morning. No accommodations with 2 teenagers stuck at the airport. But she explained to me that Southwest policy is to accommodate a person of size. There we go. Person of size, even if they did not purchase a ticket. And it is their right to kick a person out of the plane for the oversized person. I explained to her that I paid for the ticket. She said, we need to accommodate person of size. I said, but I purchased the ticket. And she said, well, it's the Southwest policy. And when we're going back and forth, I lost it. I've been dealing with it for 8 hours now. So now I'm stuck in Baltimore without any accommodations with 2 teenagers. Help. Please tell me that I'm missing something. Please tell me it is not okay to kick a person out of the plane who paid for the ticket for a person of size who did not. Am I truly missing something? I mean, it's up for debate, so I'd be happy to hear what you have to say.
There is a customer size too on the aircraft. Even if there aren't enough seats, we have to accommodate that customer of size. And unfortunately, you have to accommodate a customer of size if they need an extra seat. We don't charge for extra seats. If a customer of size gets on that aircraft, we have to accommodate them with an extra seat of no charge.
Look, if Southwest want to do this, I and many others, I'm sure, will understand that that's probably not going to be the airline to risk going with. It's just not worth the risk. If I'm going to get pushed off a flight that I've paid for, when I've paid for my ticket in full to accommodate somebody who wants a free extra seat, that's not the airline for me. So many of us understand that. But the issue is, if more airlines adopt this, there's going to be some problems. If it's just one airline for now, it's just Southwest, great. If you're plus sized and you want an extra seat, you know you can get one for free. Even if it means other people get thrown off the flight. You come first with Southwest. Fine. You know, they want to be the plus size airline, great. But as long as it's not adopted by other airlines and our options become narrower and narrower, then there's going to be a huge issue. Now, some may argue that it's already an issue, even if it's just one airline. I don't think what happened to that woman was right, and that's unacceptable. It's unacceptable if it happens to one person, especially when you're flying with kids internationally. I mean, that's unacceptable. It should be the person who wants the extra free seat who was inconvenienced. Maybe they can get an extra seat on a less busy flight. You know, it's a free seat, so really, beggars can't be choosers. They should be the one who are inconvenienced. The person who has paid should come first. But yet they were willing to put the person who had paid on another flight and inconvenience them. Crazy world we're living in today, if you ask me. Crazy times. We're rewarding people who choose to, you know, live unhealthy lifestyles, and everyone else has to accommodate them. So let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves, and God willing, I will see you in the next video.